Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness. I'm too excited. So excited for Dr. Chere M. Goode today. She is the founder and CEO of Total Harmony Enterprises, Make Me Over Wellness, and the Jordan Alexander Cofield Foundation, dedicated to her late son. I mean, she's just blazing the trails, best-selling author. I mean, you're talking about recharging your mind, your mental, your physical, emotional batteries to achieve success in life and business. This is the boss lady, and I'm so excited to have her. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. So let's get right into it. Tell us. First of all, let's talk about your personal story.
Okay. Well, I've been a nurse for the past 31 years, so that's how I got into the wellness arena. As far as I can remember back in kindergarten, I can remember dressing up for career day as a nurse. Always wanted to be a nurse because the uniform was the thing that attracted me. I'm always had a fascination with the human body. So when I got old enough at 17, I became a nurse, and I've been a nurse ever since. But becoming a nurse set the path for me to be able to do other things in wellness, like being able to be a wellness author and speaker and teach others how to prevent health occurrences that we see every day in the world. So everything health and wellness, they call me the master of wellness, the recharge strategist, teaching people ways to just stress less so that they can live a long time and have a happy, healthy, harmonious lifestyle.
Now I have some nurse friends out there. I went to Norfolk State, so we're like the nursing school, the top nursing school in the country. And a
Mhm.
lot of people, they get stuck in a nursing career. They don't want to do anything else. So what inspired you to create your own business and get outside that box?
Well, I tell you, every job has its ups and downs, right? So wanting to have more control of my life, I think my hours. We used to work long, strenuous hours, and for minimal pay. And so that was one of the things I was like, I don't want anybody to tell me I can't have off to go to one of my children's events or, be a part of something that I really want to be, that was monumental in my life. It may not have been into to the employer's life, but to me it was important. They would say, no, you can't have the day off. So that would just irritate my soul, make me want to quit. So I was like, no, we have to do something else. We have to take more control of our lifestyle, of our time. And so that's when I started to delve into different areas that I could use that knowledge that I had as a nurse to help me to propel forward into some things entrepreneurially.
Okay, and then you have one of the hardest degrees on earth, the doctorate degree. So what made you get your doctorate degree?
Well, I have an honorary doctorate degree in social advocacy, and that is attributed to the work in the community I've done over all the years of being a nurse and being, the founder of Total Harmony Enterprises, going out and just, sharing the wealth, sharing the knowledge, giving back to the community, because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. If you're not impacting anybody else's life, then, all the work that we do, all the things that we do in our life really are purposeless if we're not impacting someone else's life.
Okay. And I'm sure, I think self-care is something being thrown around so loosely. So what do you tell your clients, like, as far as starting off the day, to make sure that they keep that self-care first?
I told them that they should be the first thing on the calendar. So we put everything else on our calendars, right? We put our doctor's appointments, we put meetings, we put everything else on the calendar. Why don't we put the most important thing on the calendar, ourselves? Because without us, none of the other things are going to happen anyway, right? So we have to make sure that we're putting self care, me time, however you want to put it or label it. You need to be the first thing, and then everything else needs to center around you loving on yourself and putting yourself first.
Hmm. So usually, how long does it take if you're dealing with a client who doesn't have any self-care? They have some, childhood issues, or maybe some adult or teenager issues. How do you walk them through the process of gaining self-care?
Well, the first thing is to recognize the need. So a lot of times people may not feel like they're stressed out or that their peace is disturbed or that they even need to schedule that time. So we start off small, like maybe just 10 minutes a day. I want you to do something that you enjoy. Not something for your kids, not something for your significant other, something that you enjoy. And that may be just going and sitting in a place in silence. So I always challenge my clients. I say, we're going to take 60 seconds and we're just going to sit here and we're not going to say anything to each other. We're not going to move. We're going to put everything down. No cell phone, no TV, no radio. We're just going to sit everything down and just lay your hands in your lap. That 60 seconds typically feels like a lifetime to people. that shows that you need time for self-care if you can't sit still for 60 seconds. So that's a challenge that I do first, to show them the need to just be still for a moment, do absolutely nothing but breathe, and show them how that then helps them to refocus, that helps them to gain clarity, that brings about peace in their life. And then we build from the 10 minutes, and then we say, okay, let's make it 20 minutes, let's make it 30 minutes. And before you know it, they've built up to an entire day where they're like, oh no, I need my self-care time. It's something that they yearn for. Once you get a piece of that self-care, self-love piece, you're going to want some more of it. So helping them to create Zen spaces in their home that will help them to be their go-to place where they're feeling stressed out, that they go to that place so that they're able to relax and rejuvenate and recharge.
Okay. Now let's get into your 8 pillars of self-care.
Yes, absolutely. So the first one is self-advocacy, speaking up for yourself. That's one of the biggest ways to perform self-care. Telling others no so that you can say yes to yourself. And a lot of times that's hard for people because, especially women, we're givers, we're nurturers. We take care of everybody else and put ourselves last. But sometimes you have to say no to others so that you can put yourself first. If you're exhausted, if you're drained and you continue to run, your body's going to shut itself down whether you want to or not. So it's important that you actually say, no. And there's other ways you can say it that's not mean. I'm not going to be able to do that, or that's not going to work with my schedule. However you want to put it, at the end of the day, the answer is no, so that you can serve yourself first. So speaking up for yourself, allowing yourself to let others know how you want to be treated by the way that you treat yourself.
And what about the other ones? Is that all?
No, we have 8 recharge pillars. So self-advocacy, that was one we just talked about. Nutrition. What you put in is what you're going to get out. So you put in junk, you're going to feel like junk. You put in crap, you're going to feel like crap. Those chemically refined, altered, processed foods that they taste good for a moment on your lips, but they last a lifetime on your hips, and they don't make you feel good later. They leave you zapped for energy. Those are the things you want to avoid. Instead, you want to eat crow, which is clean, raw, organic, whole foods that are going to leave you sustained and full and leave your hair and your skin and nails glowing and growing. And so those are things that you want to put into your body, and they leave you feeling recharged and rejuvenated. So that's what you want to do as far as nutrition. Now, after you do have the nutrition, you got to move, because you got to burn what you put in, right? So you have to move your body, making sure that you are moving at least 30 minutes a day, whether it's a brisk walk, whether it's just a walk through your neighborhood, walking your pet, playing, dancing to your favorite music, whatever it is, move your body, because you lose what you don't use. So if you don't use those muscles, you're going to lose the ability to use them. The next one, after you work out, you're going to be tired, right? So rest. So you need to, excuse me. So you need to relax. You need to rest. So relaxation. And another one is meditation. I'll just put those two together. Rest and relaxation is important. You have to give your body a time to rejuvenate, to repair itself. So that's why sleep is so important. Making sure that you get at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, anywhere from 7 to 9. Some people require more than others, but 7 to 9 hours of sleep. It helps you to reboot. It's almost like a computer. If you let your computer just run, you never turn it off, it's going to overheat. You're going to hear that fan come on. It's letting you know, hey, you need a cool down period. Same thing with your body. If you run, your body's going to shut down whether you want it to or not. And so that's why sleep is imperative, and preparing for your rest. We prepare for everything else, but why don't we prepare for sleep? Getting your mind, your body in that mode that says, oh, they're shutting it down now. As soon as you walk into your place of sleep, what does your brain say? Does it say it's turn up time? Oh, we're about to watch TV? Or does it say, hey, oh, she's getting ready to close her eyes. She's getting ready to go to bed. Your brain gets used to whatever you feed it. And then meditation, again, those moments of stillness where you do nothing but just simply be, simply breathe, and just be in that moment that you're in. Whether it's just sitting on the sofa, whether it's just laying back quietly for 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is that helps you just to restore and rejuvenate and recharge. Now, after you do all that, there are a couple more things we have to do. We need to forgive and heal. So healing, before you heal, you have to forgive. Some of us are holding on to things that we've been holding on for some many, many years that someone did to us, and maybe they didn't apologize. Guess what? That forgiveness is not for that other person. It's for you. And so I have a motto for all of my clients. I said, if it's not going to matter 5 years from now, don't waste 5 minutes on it. Life is entirely too short to stay stuck, imprisoned by what someone else did to you. So you need to heal, forgive them for yourself. So whatever it is that someone may have done to you, they may never ever apologize, but that's a part of your healing journey, letting that go so that you can live the best life possible, so that you can live mind free and peacefully, knowing that life is going to go on without worrying about that other person. As long as you stay stuck there, you're in prison. And then after we do all those things and we rejuvenate and we recharge and we've done those pillars, it's time to celebrate. So we have to celebrate from where we were to where we are today with loving ourselves and performing self-care daily and doing all the things to nurture ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally. We have to celebrate the success. I've come from this point, from point A to point B. Look how my life has changed by just pouring into myself and loving on me.
Wow. I would say forgiveness and healings out of your pillars hardest for me. Yeah. Sometimes I gotta give it to God. And do you ever tell your clients about the power of, I would say, the law of reciprocation? I believe in sowing and reaping. And sometimes you just got to let the universe do their thing with people. So I'm still learning that pillar.
Absolutely. And honestly, it doesn't mean that you forget because you're saying, hey, I'm forgiving them. I'm just going to forgive them. It doesn't mean that you forget the hurt. It means you don't allow it to hinder your lifestyle. You don't allow it to hinder whatever it is that you want to progress in your life and heal so that you can live the best life possible. Because that person may not even know they even did anything to you, or that you're even still thinking about it. And you're sitting here stuck in this place and not going on with your life and living your full life because you're waiting for this apology you're never going to get from somebody. Then you're holding yourself in prison. You are in prison. And it's up to you how long you let what hurt you haunt you.
Wow. So you are also the best-selling author. I'm not going to run through that whole resume, but a lot of people, they struggle when they become a first-time author. So how are you able to gain that momentum and then get people to support your vision?
I tell you, when you look at a need in the world, there was, like, especially during the pandemic, there was a lot of loss, a lot of grief. And when you look, I looked at my own life journey, and we can always talk about losing my son, Jordan, which this month will make 2 years ago. When I lost my son, I mean, my whole life changed. And I knew that I wasn't the only one that had gone through loss of such a magnitude. And so I knew that there was a need for people to heal. And so I said, if I'm vulnerable and I share my story and I share what I did to just get to the other side of that grief and begin my healing journey, I know there's someone else that has something valuable that they can add not only to my life, but pour into the lives of others. And so that is why, that's how I got others to participate in that book collaboration. My dog wants to be a part of the interview. Sorry, guys. He's spoiled rotten, so we're going to let him be a part of the interview.
What's your dog's name?
This is Miko. Say hi.
Miko, hello.
Yeah. Miko actually was a part of my healing journey after losing my son. He provides some emotional support for me. I needed something else to take care of to kind of keep my mind off of the grief and continue to heal. And so I got this little baby, and he's literally like a child.
That's your co-star for today.
Yeah, he's my co-star for today. If I don't want him to bark, I got to pick him up.
So let's talk about mental wellness meditation. Does that work?
Absolutely. Again, just having those moments of stillness. Another thing that I've found, if you're someone that just really struggles with just moments of stillness and just nothing on, there is megahertz, is a type of music that actually helps to shift the brain waves. And so you can find it on YouTube and things like that. Just put in megahertz and you can pick what you want it to do for your body or for your brain. So whether you want to relax or whether you want to be more mindful, whether you want to be calm or get rid of some anxiety, there are different waves of music that actually speak to your brain to help you to relax and calm down. So I believe firmly in that really does work. Even if you're someone who has problems sleeping, there's even a megahertz of music that will actually help you to relax and sleep.
Wow. And then also, I want to talk about some of your speaking engagement and products. I know Les Brown is a part of that. You've been
Mhm.
featured on Dr. Oz, ABC, and so forth.
Mhm.
Was this part of the plan, or did it just kind of happen?
It kind of just happened. And also, I mean, it's all about, again, your network, who you surround yourself with a lot of times, and just being visible, being transparent, being authentic, not trying to, copy after anyone else, not trying to be in another lane that I am not in, just literally living my life, and practicing the things that I teach my clients and what I speak on. I live a very peaceful lifestyle. All the things that I teach my clients, I actually implement in my own life. And so just living, a true, the truth, living my truth, that helps others to see, like, hey, we want to know what is it that you're doing, especially again, throughout my grief journey, with losing my son. A lot of people like, I don't know how you still stand and I don't know how you're still doing those things. And I'm like, I am implementing what I teach to others is what I actually do for myself. So it's not just me teaching it, it's actually walking the walk and living the lifestyle that I teach others.
Okay. So how did you, I'm pretty sure you weren't like a wizard now that you are right now, but how did you increase your closing ratio? When you started off, you probably had one or two clients and now you got plenty. Like how did you do that?
Word of mouth is everything. So I
Okay.
say customer service is everything. So if everything doesn't always go right in business, but if something does go wrong, the biggest thing you can do is make it right. So when things don't go 100% the way you want them to with a client, or if a client is not satisfied, it's not about your feelings. Take your own feelings out of it and recognize it's business. And you do whatever you have to do to make that relationship right, because people will talk faster about a negative experience than they will a positive one. So just, again, making sure that you fix any problems with a client, keeping customer relationships well, because word of mouth is definitely your biggest advertisement. No matter what you post, people will go off what others say. So just making sure that I keep those relationships close, checking on my clients if I haven't heard from them for a while, circling back around, sometimes just saying hello, not out for a sale every time, but sometimes, making sure that you're checking on them as a person. People want to know that you're genuinely interested in them as a person and not just a sale.
Okay. And as a businesswoman, I feel like a lot of women, we tend to not charge what we're worth. So
Hmm.
did you like when you're consulting people who may want to get in the same lane, like what do you advise them as far as not being afraid to, go up when you see you're leveling up in life. So how did you go over that hump?
Yeah, I used to struggle with that as well. As women, we always, that's the part we get quiet on. We can talk about what we do all day long, but when it comes to saying, when it gets to the price, well, how much do you charge? We whisper. No, we need to get loud about it. Like, this is what I charge. And if a person doesn't want to pay your rates, then that's not your customer. That's not your client. And so after do your numbers and you realize, I didn't make money, but I spent all this time and energy, then you start to feel salty and you feel like, I don't want to do this anymore because, I'm putting in more than what I'm getting. So when you feel like that one time, you will recognize that you need to charge your worth. And sometimes, it can be more of a headache and you're not charging what you're really worth. It becomes more of a headache when you take on clients that are not truly your clients. So charge what you are worth. That way, if you do get a client that may be, a little more difficult to deal with, at least you're getting paid for it.
Yeah, but you say no, right? If it gets too crazy, you do say
Oh,
no.
oh yeah, oh yes. We set clear boundaries. We set clear boundaries, and we also have a screening process to see if it's even going to be a good working relationship before we even
Mhm.
delve into it. So it has to be a good working relationship. There's a questionnaire that I ask to see, and make sure that your client has reasonable goals and expectations from you. I can't change your life. I can't fix your life, but I can guide you in the way to help things to get on a path to make your life better. But I'm
Okay.
not I'm not Dr. Phil.
Oh my goodness. So what do your clients love most about you?
My realness. I'm very direct, and I'm very real, and I'm not afraid to share my personal failures and successes with them to help them to see, hey, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I don't have a perfect lifestyle. Even now being a wellness coach, I don't have a perfect lifestyle, but as long as you wake up the next day, you get a do-over to fix whatever it was about yesterday that you didn't like. So that just being real, people love realness and sharing. Look, I've made some of the same mistakes maybe you've made, non-judgment also. So not judging the clients either.
Okay. And what would you name, there's a lot of people pretending to be wellness coaches. So how are people able to differentiate between a great wellness coach and then somebody who's just trying to make money off of them?
I, well, first of all, I would say what are their credentials? Like, how did they become a wellness coach? What backing do they have when it comes to the wellness arena? And you can't be an expert at everything. So what specific area is that person actually going to coach you on? So I stay in my lane. I'm self-care. I'm the recharge strategist. Yes, I can speak on a whole array of health and wellness topics because I'm a nurse, but I stay in my lane and I do self-care, recharging, mind, body, and spirit. So if you have someone who is, oh, I teach this and I teach this and I teach that, if they're teaching 50 things, then they're not a master of anything. So making sure that you're clear on what are they going to add to your life.
And then, so how do you suggest people to get rid of toxic people out their life, especially if they're like family members or like close friends? Because that can be sometimes the hardest thing to cut off. So how do you get rid of toxic people?
If I would say a family member is probably going to be the hardest one, but you can wean yourself off of people. So just slowly back away. You don't have to say anything. Slowly back away and just, have less dealings with them, less phone calls, less interaction. People will recognize, and you just slowly back away. That's what I say. Slowly back away until you find that you're not having interactions with that person. That's the best way. You don't have to have a long drawn out conversation. You don't have to have an argument. Just wean yourself off. Less phone calls, less visibility with that person. And so eventually they'll get the message.
No, you're right about that. So you're also the American Heart and Stroke Associate Ambassador. So why did you choose to be a part of that?
I did that because my dad died in 2009 from a massive heart attack in his sleep. And so one thing I've learned about myself is that with loss, I get calls to action. And so with losing my dad, I wanted to give back. I wanted to educate others because now, since my dad died from a heart attack in his sleep, myself and my siblings were all directly predisposed to heart disease. And so I just wanted to bring awareness to others about that. So losing him at 59, that's very young. I'm in my 40s, and so I'm not far from the age.
You look good too.
Thank you. Self-care. And so I just wanted to educate others. That's where my health expo used to come pre-COVID. I would do the health expos, educating the community, letting everyone know to get tested. Also just educating women because we do so much, and it ties in with the self-care because we do everything and we don't even have time to have the heart attack or the stroke. We want to clean the house before we call 911, so educating women, especially saying, hey, look, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to, your health. Take the time to get that physical, take the time to relax because we're all literally one episode away from either a mental breakdown or a physical breakdown.
Wow. So let's talk about your foundation that was dedicated to your son and the wonderful things you're doing.
Okay, the Jordan Alexander Cofield Foundation. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization geared towards, again, community service. The reason that I started that was because Jordan was big on community. He oh my goodness, he motivated so many people to just take another leap in their life and not quit on goals and dreams. I get stories almost every day about him meeting kids that maybe he ran track with in college or played football with. And all of them are like, I wouldn't even be in college if it wasn't for your son. I was just trying to keep up with him in track. And so I joined track to beat him. And I get little stories like that and how he motivated people. And so in keeping his legacy alive, we're going to enrich the lives of others. The goal of the foundation is not only to provide community service, but also help 6 HBCU student athletes to go to college every year. So we're raising funds by means of his uh, scholarship fund, and also we adopted a roadway in his honor here in Owings Mills, Maryland, where we clean the roadway 4 times a year. And then we have an initiative called Jordan's Way, which is a random act of kindness initiative where you just do a random act of kindness for a perfect stranger, and then you give them the Jordan's Way card and tell them to pay it forward. And so that's all over the world in different countries, everything. So we're looking at some other things to do for the community, maybe some motorcycle safety and all, since that's how we lost Jordan. So we're constantly building. We've only been in existence for less than a year now, but we have some great things in the making. Like this weekend, we're going to be doing the first gala in honor of Jordan and his foundation, raising funds for his scholarship.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So what's next for you? You know, you have all these great things going on. What's some of the big items that you feel like you have to knock out next?
We have some things on the horizon I can't speak of just yet, but of course I'm going to continue writing. I've been being asked to write another book on grief, another book collaboration. A lot of people reach out and say, hey, if you do another book, please let me know. I would love to chime in. I've had some losses now. I recently wrote the foreword for a new book that just came out last week called Good Grief, Finding the Goodness in Grief. And I shared my story again about Jordan, but there were some other authors. So there's always a need to inspire somebody else's life. Just continuing on this entrepreneurial journey, and whatever doesn't work, either get rid of it or go back to the drawing table and fix it. So I think that's one of the biggest things for the listeners to know, that you can't be afraid to try something, and if it fails, knock it off the plate and try something else. I'm big on that. I don't get stuck in a place of, okay, that didn't work or that failed. You have to keep starting over again. You know, if that doesn't work, try something else. If that doesn't work, try something else until you hit the perfect spot that you want to be in. So don't be afraid to transition. Don't be afraid to change things up. Don't be afraid to shut some things down if you need to. If it's not making dollars, it doesn't make sense. If you're a for-profit organization, and don't be afraid to make change. Stop worrying about what somebody else is going to think about your entrepreneurial journey, and do what's best for you and your business.
Wow, wow, wow. So let people know where they can find and connect with you at. And then do you have any message me? Do you have any availability for like new clients and coaching, and how does that work?
Absolutely. So my website is totalharmonyenterprises.com, and there is a form on there where you can request me for coaching, for speaking, for whatever you need. There's check boxes, and you can do that. There's also a free recharge assessment on there where you can go on there and you can see, like, how important is it? What am I doing? Or what do I need to do differently? And then it guides you on what the next steps are. So it says, hey, if you score this, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you score, the different numbers, it tells you what you need to do, whether it's to reach out to me immediately or whether it's to, do different things. So it tells you what to do after you take that assessment. So I would encourage the listeners to go on my website and take that free assessment. And also you can message me if you would like to talk to me about some more of my services.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Chere, for your time today. You're definitely a true advocate. I mean, a brave soldier. I have to take my hats off to you. Grief is one of those things. I feel like you could never give the right answer. I never had my father in my life, so I lost my grandfather at 15. So he was like my father. So I can't explain anything like you, but I just gotta salute you. I mean, that's a definitely huge gift that you have, and I just salute you for just continue to share it with the whole world. So
thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
All right, have a good evening. Bye, everybody.